Hey, Kieran, thanks for joining me today. To start, do you want to maybe take a minute to just introduce who you are and what is Shopgenie?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Kieran. I don't meet a lot of people with my same name, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you're
So
actually the first person I've met that has the exact same spelling as me.
yeah, with the same spelling is rare, man. How many times you have to repeat your order at Starbucks and spell your name out?
A lot, man. I actually, I use my last name, so that's what I do.
Oh yeah, see, my last name is equally as hard to spell, so that's the problem. So on that note, yeah, my name's Kieran O'Brien. I'm 24 years old. I'm the founder and CEO of Shopgenie. We're an all-in-one customer experience platform for the automotive repair industry. So we're a vertical SaaS company. Started a little over a year ago. We were in stealth mode for about 6 months, and we launched in June. And yeah, I'm very passionate about automotive and SaaS, and excited to be here and chat more about it.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. And can you talk a little bit more about just like why you're excited about this opportunity?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, there's so many reasons to be excited about Shopgenie. So for me specifically, I've always been a car guy. I've always been super into automotive, and kind of always been like a gearhead. But this industry specifically, there's so many tailwinds that are working in our favor. For example, the industry consolidating extremely fast. There's a lot of private equity money that are coming in, rolling up these different automotive repair shops. And this isn't exclusive to auto repair. It's happening in a lot of other SMB verticals as well, where companies are coming in and consolidating. And a lot of the kind of the old guard is changing, for example, where a lot of baby boomers are the ones that started these businesses. They're getting to retirement age. They're selling or handing down their businesses to their next of kin. And so as a result, younger owners are coming on the scene. They're looking for more modern technology and more modern solutions to their problems. And so that's where a company like Shopgenie comes in, and we get to have a really fun time working with a lot of these changing winds, so to speak, in the industry. So.
Mm-hmm. And can you talk more about the data around the macro trends? I think I heard you mention in another podcast that like 2/3 of shop owners are passing down their shops within the next 10 years. What are some other like statistics or data around this industry that you can maybe share?
Yeah, so one of the shocking statistics that I found when I was starting Shopgenie, there was a study that was done about 5 years ago in 2017, and essentially they interviewed a few thousand shops, and one of the statistics was that in the next 10 years, over 66% of those people who were interviewed are planning on getting out of the business, retiring, selling, shutting down the business, whatever it might be, right? And so I found that absolutely staggering. And then, of course, that study's 5 years old now. So that means in the next 5 years, and there's over 250,000 automotive repair shops in the US alone, not even counting Canada, Australia, other English-speaking first world countries. And so it's just such a massive opportunity. If you think about the numbers behind that, I mean, 66% of a 250,000, that's over 100,000 businesses that are going to be changing hands in the next 5 years. And again, younger owners, more consolidation, more tech savvy, forward thinking people are taking over these businesses and looking for solutions like ours, right?
Cool. And I mentioned before this call that I'm not like a car guy. And so it was really interesting for me to just research about your company and your background. And I'm very curious about the customer and trying to understand that better. So I guess like one question I had around that was like, why do customers go to independent auto repair shops over car dealership repair shops? I think I've heard like two things in the past. One is probably like cost related. I think it costs more money to go to a car dealership just because they have more overhead, so they charge more. And then I've also heard something around just like limited spots, right? Like if there wasn't independent auto repair shops, then you'd have to wait a long time to get your car serviced at a car dealership repair shop. So are those like the two main thing, or is there like more nuance to that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of things that influence it. I think, most people, when they bring their car to a dealership, it's usually out of necessity due to warranty work. So the car's under warranty, or, there's some reason why they need to bring it to the dealer. The reality is, the auto repair industry is, it's the backbone of America. And SMBs as a whole are the backbone of America, right? There's an inherent trust factor that goes along with being able to do business with, your neighbor down the street, right? Versus doing business with a suit or, some big logo, some brand. And so there's just kind of that inherent trust factor that goes along with it, and that inherent distrust in, corporate America, so to speak, which is what's oftentimes associated with those big box dealerships. And then, of course, yes, you're right. Independent repair is oftentimes cheaper and more accessible than dealership. Dealership, obviously, their first and primary function of existence is to sell cars, not necessarily repair them. Yep. And so it's just it's more common for a customer or consumer with an older vehicle to want to go to an independent shop, over a dealership.
Cool. And you mentioned there's about 250,000 independent auto repair shops in the United States, and that's your customer. Zooming in a little bit more, can you just share where you're seeing like the initial product market fit? Like, are these multi-location? Are these single location? Are they converting from pen and paper, or do they already have existing software tools? Can you talk a little bit more about where you're seeing that pull?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we're primarily working with shops that are already using existing software. They're more sophisticated SaaS buyers, surprisingly. But yeah, there's absolutely, I mean, the macro trend is definitely moving towards, more cloud-based software. There is still, north of 30-40% of the industry. And the reason I'm using such large variations in numbers is because there's really no good studies on these things. But it's estimated that 30-40% of the industry is still on pen and paper. But what comes with that is, as a SaaS business, they're much more difficult to find. So inherently, as an early stage company, it's easier for us to find the more tech savvy, forward thinking, technology adopter type customers. So that's kind of our ICP right now. But yeah, I mean, if we think about, the horizon and, what the next 3 to 5 years looks like for Shopgenie, it's absolutely, figuring out a way to find those more pen and paper type users and getting them to adopt modern technology.
Cool. And can you talk a little bit about just like how fast you're growing? Can you maybe talk about just like your revenue, your growth rate, customer satisfaction, anything you're maybe willing to share to talk about, just how fast you're growing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing that I'd like to focus on too is, when we talk about our growth numbers, and like we've got some pretty impressive ones that I'll get to in a moment, but for SaaS founders, setting yourself up for success is the most important piece of it, right? And so for what I mean by that is we were in a private beta for 6 months before we did anything, before we launched, before we were willing to take on customers. We had 3 customers for about 90 days. And then we upgraded it to 10. We let 7 more people in. And that was it. That's all we had for 6 months. We had people that wanted to work with us. We had people that were even willing to pay for our MVP. We didn't take them on because they didn't fit our profile for what we called our customer development program, which were customers that were deeply invested in our success, deeply invested in helping us solve some of the pain points that we were looking to solve initially with our MVP. And I think being very, very strict about that worked in our favor, because it meant that when we did come out of stealth in June, we actually had a product that was ready for prime time, that was ready for customers to use it, and kept our NPS score high, kept customer satisfaction high, and we were focusing on the right things. And so, yeah, we already had like low 6 figures of revenue in June coming out of stealth. That's another important lesson I think a lot of like first time or early stage SaaS founders should listen to is our customers were paying for our MVP probably before it was even worth paying for, in my opinion. I mean, in retrospect, right? It's like if you're not embarrassed with your first product, then you waited too soon to launch, right? But yeah, we didn't let anybody use anything for free. Everybody was paying since day 0. So that was a big piece. So we did have revenue from day 0, which was great. And then, yeah, we launched on June 15th. We hit $1 million in ARR in just over 100 days. So 110 101 days, I think, 102 days post launch, we hit $1 million in ARR. Yeah, we're well on track to crack 5 million in 2024.
Awesome. And I guess like what needs to happen for you to accomplish that in 2024?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're spending a lot of time on our go-to-market. We're spending a lot of time on refining our ICP, our ideal customer profile, and just really figuring out, what our most successful customers have in common. And again, like I said, our NPS score is really high. Customer service is like the number one focus at Shopgenie. Like we like to use the term customer obsession. And so, the biggest thing for us is we're growing organically. I think it's important to note that those numbers I just gave, we've spent $0 on paid marketing up until this point. It's all been organic inbound, which really speaks to the importance of brand and the importance of referrals and the importance of reputation and customer service. And so in SaaS, it's really easy to throw a bunch of money at marketing and get a bunch of signups. But if your churn rate is crushing you, then you're never going to get off the ground. And so that was a big focus for us. And I think that, for us to hit our goals, to get past that 5 million in ARR mark, it's really just doing everything that we've been doing up until this point, and then adding in that customer service factor, and really just obsessing over our customers and, not really overcomplicating it. There's no magic bullet for increasing sales. There's no magic bullet for go-to-market. At the end of the day, it's just finding a simple and repeatable system for getting eyeballs, getting in front of your ICP, and then once they're on board, once they're a paying customer, just not messing it up and obsessing over them, and really listening and understanding their problems.
Sweet. And would love if we could sort of talk a little bit about the products. Can you maybe give a quick overview of like what the product does today and where you see it going in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a CRM platform. So we call ourselves a customer experience platform. It has a few different aspects. So one piece is the CRM. So we do a lot of the automated follow-up and marketing for automotive shops. So if you've ever been to a shop and you get like a piece of mail a week later, or like a text message or an email saying, hey, you're due for your next oil change or whatever it is, those are the types of things that we do. So retention marketing for automotive services, reputation management, so review platform management and all of those types of things. We do have a CMS and a website builder inside of our platform as well. That's kind of our second product. So we do help and manage the online presence for the shop as well. And then we do have a scheduling platform as well. So think like Calendly for auto repair shops. So it shows the real-time mechanic availability. So when a shop customer goes on their website or their Google business listing, kind of like OpenTable, you can go and you can see, all right, I can bring my car in at this time for this service, and I know that it's going to be done because it's all intelligent availability, right? So that's a big piece of our system, as well as the scheduling workflow.
And where do you see like the product going from here?
Yeah, I mean, a big focus of ours in 2024 is getting more into phone calls. So kind of helping consolidate tooling more for the automotive shops that are using VoIP systems and platforms like CallRail. So kind of being able to consolidate their tooling. That's a big value prop for us. Is we're a compound startup, so we're building multiple product areas at the same time. And so that allows us to cover a lot of surface area. There's pros and cons. Being a traditional startup, knowledge says focus on one product, one problem, and then expand from there. But if you can have a relatively large surface area kind of from the get-go, then you are serving a slightly different customer profile, but you're also serving them better and helping them consolidate vendors and save money and save a bunch of headache. So again, there's pros and cons to both, but we've decided to take the compound startup route, and the next big thing that we're biting off is getting more into the phone call workflow.
Awesome. And when I was researching your company and the product, one of the interesting things that I saw you guys working on was this tool called Jasmine AI, which is sort of like your AI powered product. I think it's like ChatGPT, but trained on auto repair data. Can you talk a little bit more about the progress on that? And I guess like how would you see a customer using that part of the product?
Yeah, there's a lot of really manual work that's involved in like the workflow for getting a vehicle into the shop, right? So it typically looks something like, customer Googles the auto repair shop, they call in, they're like, hey, can I get this service done today? And oh, well, how much does it cost? And like, oh, can I drop it off? Do you have a loaner car? What are your hours? Can I pick it up tomorrow morning? Do you have a key box? Like all these questions, right? These questions are easily answerable by by the data that's encompassed in a shop's website or even in their backend like point of sale software. And so Jasmine, the AI tool that we're building, is essentially a virtual service advisor that's going to be able to take all of the contextual data from that shop from different sources, like their point of sale, like their website, like anything else that they provide to us, and essentially build a virtual front desk assistant, virtual service advisor, which is what the front desk person is called in the auto repair industry. And then that can live on the shop's website and answer their questions and, give contextual and accurate answers, whether it's relating to inventory or appointment availability or just like a nuanced question that only that shop's front desk person would know. Jasmine will be able to kind of take the place of that and let the in-person interactions kind of become priority, because if you have a front desk service associate or customer service person that's always on the phone or typing on a keyboard, they're inherently neglecting the customer that's in the shop, right? And so we want service advisors to be able to focus on what's important, which is the customer that's there face to face in the shop, and then all of the repeatable and kind of predictable questions and conversation that comes up can be handled by Jasmine, and that's kind of just set it and forget it, and let us take care of it. So
awesome. And then who do you see as like your competitors, and how do you think about your positioning? I think there's like auto specific ones like AutoLeap, ShopMonkey. You probably are more familiar with it, and then there's also like regular CRMs with marketing suites like HubSpot and other tools like that.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at the industry, it's when we look at vertical SaaS as a whole, it's very obvious that vertical specific solutions are going to win. There is, because the barrier to entry of software is so low now, really the only moat is go to market and distribution, right? And so if you can find unique go to market and unique distribution and really tap into your ICP and kind of like hit a chord with them and relate with them, that's the most important part. And so I think a lot of horizontal SaaS companies, they have trouble getting into like very niche specific verticals because they don't deeply understand the ICP. And so that's something like for us, like my first job in high school was working at an auto repair shop. I've been in and around auto repair shops my entire career. So I know some of the nuances of how this works and how they like to be spoken to, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's really a big thing. And you listed a couple companies there. Those companies are like point of sale softwares, whereas we're more like CRM softwares. And so those companies are not competitors to ours. And even if they were, we just focus on customers. We're customer obsessed. We don't really like to look at competitors. And I think the big thing for us too is, we always use this analogy at Shopgenie. If there is ever a conversation about a competitor, it's that meme of Michael Phelps in the Olympics, where it's like losers focus on winners and winners focus on winning. And the guy in the lane next to him is looking over at Michael Phelps, and Michael Phelps is looking straight ahead. That's what I always like to remind my team and make sure that we're not getting distracted or not focusing on competitors too much, and that we're just focusing on customer value and staying obsessed with our customers.
Awesome. Love that. Yeah, it seems like you're very focused on the current plan and executing against that. Kind of curious, thinking like long term, Like, are there adjacent areas that you're excited about? Like, do you see opportunities on the car dealership repair shop side of things, on the shop management side of things? Yeah, where do you think this could go if you're successful with the current plan?
Yeah, I mean, we're not really thinking about expansion outside of our current vertical, to be honest. I mean, auto repair is such a massive vertical, and it's something that we know super well. So yeah, I mean, the reality is we're really not looking to expand potentially ever because of how much opportunity, how much blue ocean there is inside of the auto repair vertical.
Cool. And we'd love to talk a little bit about the team. Can you talk about just maybe the current size of the team and maybe what the culture is like at Shopgenie?
Yeah, happy to. Yeah, we just brought on our 20th full-time team member last week, which is really exciting. And we're growing fast. We're always hiring. If anybody wants to work at a fast-growing vertical SaaS company, let me know. But yeah, I mean, the culture at Shopgenie is it's a lot of young energy. We've got a lot of like young people on the team. It's also it's very much like an entrepreneurial kind of self-starter community. And I know a lot of people say this, a lot of founders say this, but it is truly like everybody owns what they do. It's extreme ownership for everything, good and bad, that happens, within your scope of work. And so everybody is a self-starter. Everybody is very independent. There's no bureaucracy. There's no hierarchy. Like, my co-founder Caden and I are, shoulder to shoulder with our employees every single day. And everyone kind of gets their hands dirty, wears multiple hats. And that's I think the biggest key to success especially with an early stage company is, nobody's above anything. Nobody's too cool for school. Nobody feels like anything is beneath them.
Awesome. And can you talk a little bit more about the roles that you're hiring for either now or early next year?
Yeah, I mean, we're always hiring software engineers, and we're always hiring customer success managers. So if you are a really talented software engineer, or if you have experience with SaaS customer success or onboarding, that is one of the things that we invest into the most, is our customer success team. So yeah, those are probably the two biggest roles that we're hiring for right now.
Awesome. And is your company remote, or are you guys headquartered somewhere? Or
Yeah, we're headquartered here in Scottsdale, Arizona, but we're hybrid. So we have plenty of remote team members all over the place as well. So it's either one's fine.
Awesome. Well, great way to finish. I'll make sure to link on the blog post, just like your careers page, so people can find the openings. And yeah, really appreciate you, Kieran, for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.